Hey everybody, Jason here. Got another quick unboxing video for you. I say quick, but I don't know if it'll be quick because they usually never are. But, excuse me, I got an unboxing here for, it's a Bloat Games product. Shouldn't come as a surprise. I actually got this a couple days ago, but I've been super busy. Family and I, we went out of town, visit some other family, go to a baby shower, went to Detroit, then we went to Canada for the weekend, and it's a long weekend, very busy, but we had a good time. So anyway, what we got here, did I get this from Drive-Thru-RPG? Yeah. Sometimes I don't remember if I go through Drive-Thru-RPG or Lulu. I don't remember some half the time, but what we've got here is the third book in the Vigilante hack series by Bloat Games called Sanctuary Asylum. The Vigilante hack is a role-playing game, a very small, compact role-playing game based on the Black Hack, which is like an OSR style game that focuses on vigilantes, like not like superheroes. And I think I talked about the Black Hack, or the Vigilante hack, I'm sorry, in one of my previous videos. But it's an OSR vigilante game that's more like, Arrow or Punisher, not like Spider-Man or Superman. Nothing with powers. It's very street level, think like that. There's like 6 classes in the game. There are 10 levels, and it's an OSR style, like I said before, an OSR style system where it's got your typical 6 stats, strength, dex, con, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, and level based. Like I said, there's 10 levels, and there's a couple different ways you can. This is not going to be a full review of the game. But there's fixed damage or optional rules to roll dice as damage. It's a very tight, compact little game, which I'm not gonna not review fully here because I can save that for another video that'll be way more interesting and detailed than this. But this is the third book in the series, and I know this video is probably a little chaotic right now because I'm jumping back and forth, but I'm very tired. It's been a long week, and it's only Tuesday. The Sanctuary Asylum says here on the back that it includes a new vigilante class, the Cat Burglar, some notable villains, a random patient generator. Bloat Games always has fantastic random charts for things. It's very, very cool in that regard. And there's a new adventure called When All Hell Breaks Loose. So it says on the back here, Sanctuary Meadows Criminal Asylum. Built in the 1950s, just a few miles from the city of Dreams End, and still in operation today. Sanctuary Meadows is an asylum for the criminally insane. Created to deal with an ever-increasing amount of crime and mentally deranged activity, the asylum is operated by Dr. Owen Travistak and his select team of therapists. It continues to use all manner of questionable medical practices, including shock therapy, lobotomies, physical restraints, sleep deprivation, and solitary confinement, all of which go unchecked by local and government authorities due to its remarkable track record of removing the most heinous criminals from the streets. The asylum sits on 10 acres of private land and houses some 150 patients, some of the most notorious criminals in the country. The entire establishment is ringed by an 8-foot-tall stone wall, topped with barbed wire. In addition to the staff of therapists and doctors, Sanctuary Meadows also employs its own private security team. So this is kind of a setting, I don't want to say a setting book, although it is a setting book. The Vigilante hack itself was written by Eric Bloat. This particular source book was written by Jody Brandt. And on the table of contents here, I'll just read some of this stuff here. It says, it goes over the basics of what the Sanctuary itself is, the new Vigilante class, the Cat Burglar, and it's got an asylum floor and room generator, quick asylum patient generation tables, which sounds pretty awesome. We'll go over that in a second. Psychotic drugs of San Med. There's some notable villains. It looks like there are 5 of them in here. And there's an adventure called When All Hell Breaks Loose. And then another adventure called Fever Dream. And then there are a bunch of pre-gen characters. Looks like these are probably going to be other heroes, which we can get to that in a second, including the OGL. The book is 36 pages long. It's all black and white, except for the cover. Here's a picture of the back cover, actually. So inside some of the stuff that we read before, there's a what is this section, which I kind of read off the back what it was about in a way. But it says Sanctuary Meadows is a supplement and adventure pack for the Vigilante Hack RPG. It utilizes all the rules found therein and adds a few more options for you to incorporate. So it's basically a source book for the Asylum itself, like a location source book, although it doesn't cover a whole city like the Dark Places and Demogorgons J-Town Guide, which was very, very involved. You know, it's super detailed. This is more about just the Asylum itself, where you could run adventures in the Asylum. You could get people from the Asylum. Think of, and now I've not read this all the way through. I've only perused the PDF, but in a way, it's sort of like an Arkham Asylum style location for your Vigilante Hack game. Maybe a little less crazy than Arkham Asylum, a little more realistic. But it's got, you know, an Asylum floor room generator. Of course, it's a D100 chart. Fantastic. And it's got descriptions of all the stuff, you know, holding cells, nurse stations, restrooms, showers, common rooms. Now, you might wonder, why would you need a description of the dining hall? But, you know, it can make things easier for you. Instead of having to come up with a huge thing, you could take this one little description and add to it and tweak it however you want it. Storage closet, you know, a small windowless room used to hold mops, brooms, and garbage bags. Other assorted cleaning materials may be found here as well. So there's little things like that that can just add a little bit of flavor to your games. Quick Asylum patient generation tables. This is really cool. This is just one page, but look at all the stuff that's on here. So there's all kinds of stuff on there. Gender, the age, the reason they got admitted, some phobias, some of their manias and quirks, things like that. Psychochaotic drugs of SandMed. Unlike street drugs, psychochaotic drugs are a newly created form of narcotic created by Dr. Travis Stack and chemist Niles Haddock. They're meant to be sanity-inducing drugs and have always have a negative effect on player characters. Once administered, they last for a D4 hours, often determined in secret by the game master. So you have a table here, like a D8 table, that lists what each one is called and also what its effects are. And it's simple things like roll a D8, you get a 4, and it's called sloth. So it's kind of like a play on the 7 deadly sins. So what would you think a mechanical effect would be for sloth? -2 to dexterity. Seems pretty simple. So they all have things like that. So, you know, then you've got actual drugs in here. Like, for example, the very first one's called Purple Rain. REIGN. And it's, you know, named by the inmates of the Sanctuary Asylum due to the lavender color of the vial's label and its subduing effects. And then it tells what the mechanical effect is, and it's got some story effect, some fluff and things like that. So it's not just, oh, well, there's this, you know, purple potion that is a D4, you know, charisma disadvantage, whatever, you know what I mean? So it's got things like that. Then there's a bunch of pages on some notable villains. Tony Baloney is an HD7 or Hit Dice 7 mob boss, so that's kind of cool. And then there's all kinds of characters, Lady Taboo and Tickles, and look at some of this artwork. It's fantastic. You know, there's all kinds of good stuff in here. And then the pre-gen characters start on page 26. For example, the first character on here, Wreckage. Name is Billy. His real name is Billy Bartlett. His alias is Wreckage. His class is Dark Avenger. And these are all statted out at level 1. So if you want to use these characters, you can start out right away at level 1 and then work your way up. It's got all the stats and special features like what armor they typically have, what their special features are, what type of weapons and equipment they carry. And you could use these as NPCs as well. They don't have to be just pre-gens for your players to use. You could take any of these characters, and if you want, level them up so that they can be appropriate for whatever campaign you're running. And you can have yourself some characters. They could either be adversaries or allies. You could turn them around and make them villains if you wanted. But it's a really cool little book. You know, it's only 35 pages. With the OGL, it's 36. I'm sorry, 37. But again, a small little book. It's the third book in the Vigilante Hack series. You've got the Vigilante Hack itself. Then you've got The City Full of Sinners, which is the Game Master's Guide. And then the third book, Sanctuary Asylum. And I'll put the link down below to get this Sanctuary Asylum book. And as you can see, all three of these books are really thin. They're all very small books. But with the genre and what this game is intended to be and how it's intended to run, you don't need, you know, a 200-page manual for spells and special abilities, because there's no powers. It's just street level. It's realistic. You don't have to have tons of special feats and maneuvers and this and that. It's very cinematic. It's very fast. It's very tight focused, which it's OSR, you know. Of course it's tight focused and easy to run. So anyway, that is my not quick, review and unboxing of Sanctuary Asylum for the Vigilante Hack. Blow Up Games. Check them out. Peace.
Bye-bye.